Oh wait, is it picking up?
It's picking up.
Okay.
Just trying to do it naturally.
Oh, okay, okay. Miami's good.
Yeah.
It's way better than Chicago weather right now. And I hate to be that person that like does small talk, but like genuinely it is so cold in Chicago. It's actually miserable. It's good. It's clean. It also kind of feels futuristic to me. So I don't know. I kind of like it. It's nice.
Well, the reason why we're here is
Yeah.
because you have your art on display.
We
You've been doing it
do.
for such a long time.
Yeah.
And I would like to ask you, what made you start it? Like, how did you get into art?
Oh my God, I could talk about this all the time. Okay, so when I was younger, I always had so many things in my head. I guess I like to call it noise, or like in French, it's called bruit. Basically, there's always just like thoughts and actions and characters and like just things like happening in my brain, and I loved getting it out. So I was actually showing my gallerists and everyone working the booth pictures of me when I was 12, and I had done some crazy paintings, and I didn't know anything about art. I didn't grow up with a TV. I used to be really into fashion, and I would watch like the Chanel Métier d'Art avec with my mom, and I was just so enamored by fashion and beauty, and I started drawing characters and stuff. And then the older that I got, and I ended up going to high school, I would doodle all over my homework, my like paperwork, anything I had to hand in, and then it would be thrown away or recycled and whatnot. And then I lost all of those characters. So later on in my life, I'm realizing now I kind of wanted to give those characters a forever home and give them somewhere to stay, and now people can buy them and keep them. So a lot of these are personalized to my life or experiences that I have throughout the week when I'm painting them. Yeah, I think that's kind of how I got into art. It was always given to me. I don't know, I always felt like I needed to create. My grandfather was an architect. My mom, she used to paint rocks and have little exhibitions in Morocco. So it's like in our blood.
That's awesome, Sophia.
Yeah.
I see that you have a couple displays behind you right now.
Yes.
Do you mind showing us some of them?
Yes, absolutely. We have some in the back, but they're sold. Some of them are sold. So this one right now is on reserve for a buyer at 4:30. This one is called Jeans. We sold a similar color palette the other day. It was called Distill. I try to give them names like within the thematic colors and stuff. Sometimes they're random. Like I had one called Friday, super random. I don't know. I was terrible with names, and at first I wanted to name them like Untitled and be cool, but then I was like, well, if I name them all Untitled, I'm gonna get mixed up because they're similar color palettes. But this one here is Jeans. One thing about my paintings that's unique is I mix the colors as I go. So like all of these blues, you'll see they start to like meld together, and I have 4 little cups of blue, and I just mix different blues. I'll add black, white, sometimes red, different hues to make it different tones of blue. So that's Jeans. There's a little dog here. This one's cute. I'm trying to show, also there's 2 characters here that are sharing drinks, and then I thought this was really cool because it kind of looks like that one scene in Spider-Man where they're like upside down.
Yeah, it's the Spider-Verse, huh?
Yeah, it was cute. I went to the park when I was painting, not while I was painting, but the day that I was painting this, I went to the park and I saw 2 people hugging each other, so I included that.
Oh, not into the Spider-Verse, like Spider-Man 2 or Mary Jane.
Yeah.
Hanging down.
Yes, exactly. I mean, very much not related to Spider-Man, but like upside down kiss. I don't know. I thought that was kind of unique. So yeah, that one's
Can I ask you one thing?
Yeah, of course.
You mentioned that you draw it in class and your teachers were throwing it away.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think it was like on purpose. It's just like if we have a quiz, what do you do with the quiz once you're done?
Right.
They just kind of recycle it. They toss it out.
Has there ever been a moment where a teacher looked at it like, there's something here?
Yes.
There has?
Yeah, so in high school, sometimes like when I would get my papers returned to me, especially like tests or something, they would circle them and like I've had teachers be like, nice work or something. I mean, not gonna lie, some of the quizzes I failed and they would hand them back to me with like an F on it or something. And I don't know, they still appreciated the art. I remember, I think it was towards the pandemic, I still had a lot of my notebooks because I graduated in 2020 during the pandemic. And I cut out my notebooks, like not my sketchbooks, but they were like note-taking books from class or like civics or history or whatever. And I cut out a bunch of doodles and I pasted them on a big piece of paper and I gave it to my mom, I think it was either her like birthday or Christmas gift or something. And imagine this, but it's all just pencils and there's little like graph lines from the notebook paper, and that was kind of a cool collage of a bunch of characters that I was able to keep. But now I'm happy I give them a permanent home and they live in a community together. So yeah, that's this one. This one's called Pattern, which I think is cute. This one I was trying to do a little bit different of an idea. So the blue, black, white, and gray palette has been really, really strong with my buyers, and we've sold multiple in that color palette. I've also done commissions with this color palette. So I wanted to do one that's kind of similar to the Yves Klein blue, the Saint Laurent blue. My favorite color, even though I don't really, I kind of am like a muted fashion person, but I just love this hue and I love painting with it. So this one has a lot of detail. I wanted to give it as much movement as I can. So one fun thing that I do when I'm painting, because I also don't know how to sit still, clearly we can tell, I always rotate the canvas as I go. So I'll be painting like this and then I'll flip it upside down and then I'm working upside down in the traditional like sense. So sometimes you'll see faces upside down, and that's because I forgot that I was painting that way.
Oh, quick question.
Yeah.
What medium do you use? Do you use acrylic or do you use oil?
Yes. So I attempted oil when I was younger, and I am a very impatient person, and it did not. That's my red flag, guys. I'm impatient. But I disliked how long it took for me to dry, and it started blending over and over again. So I ended up, I started using acrylic when I was really young, and I honestly never learned how to use paints or anything from anyone. I was accepted to art school, then I deferred too many times, and then they pulled my scholarship. But anyway, so this is all self-taught, and I go in first with a giant base of gesso just to make sure that the canvas isn't like susceptible to any of the leaking or bleeding through. And then I go in with white paint. After that, I just kind of put different colors around the canvas until I create random shapes. So like all of this was just black before. And then as soon as I feel like I'm done with the background, so for a monochromatic painting, it means that there's no white left. But for one of these, it means that there's just like cool spaces and splotches, and whatever it is. After the entire base has been painted, I go in and I let it dry, of course, and I go in with acrylic markers that are a pain in the to use. Yeah, they're really hard. So sometimes they'll like break or they'll splatter. But I go ahead and use those all over the canvas, and I like to use ones with varying thicknesses and sizes, lines and color weights too, or lines and colors and line weights. That's the right one. Yeah, and then I create something like this. I never really know when I'm done. Like I'm looking at this now and I feel like I could still work on it, but I have to tell myself, Sophia, put it aside, just move, you're done. So that's this one, and then this one has been extremely popular.
I love this one. This is my favorite one.
Yeah, I love this color palette. I sold my favorite one the first day of the show's VIP opening, and then this one sold right after. It's so rich, it's so warm. I have like so much appreciation for interior designers and stuff, so whenever I'm painting, I always think about how my paintings can fit in someone's home, because my room is very eclectic with my art. It's just random art everywhere. The colors don't match or anything, but I know a lot of people that come to these fairs, they have interior designers, and of course they have to go by their approval, or it just has to make sure that it fits into their home and it's not too eclectic and it still works. And I was like, a lot of people will use this color palette in their homes. It's a very warm, very inviting color palette, especially people in Palm Springs or in Miami, California. This is a popular color palette. It's very neutral, but it still is a good example of my work as an artist. I just loved it. A lot of these colors were hand mixed too. So like this orange one here, this one I had to add a little bit more white to. And I try and think about what can make it pop, sort of. So like the gray with the orange against it, you don't really see it from afar.
How long does it take you to do this? Because it seems like a lot of attention and detail goes into this. Like how long does it typically on average take you to do?
Well, for me, I don't have a job, so I work all day, every single day. I really do treat it as a full-time position. I work about like 6 to 8 hours on a normal day, and like if I'm trying to finish something or if I just have a lot of extra time, like 10 hours. Yeah, and I usually work at it for a couple weeks. I'm working on multiple at the same time, so I don't know precisely how much it is. I did one in this similar size, and that one ended up taking like 4 weeks. I think it was like a month. It was a bit, but I was working on it every single day. So, yeah.
That's awesome. So, how do you feel about this style? Like, I know one of the biggest people in this kind of, I guess you would call this like doodle graffiti, like kind of style? Or?
Yeah. So it's kind of comparable to indigenous Aboriginal artwork. Also, some of my paintings have tiebacks to traditional Moroccan tile work. That's been a big thing for me, especially with the same colors. I love using green, blues, whites, and blacks. A lot of my inspiration when I'm looking back at it, ties back to Keith Haring, Modigliani, and Picasso. I have also been compared to Basquiat multiple times.
I was going to say that too as well.
Which I take, my God, I take that and I'm like, thank you.
There was one of your pieces on Instagram that I'd seen. I'll pull it up.
Yeah.
It reminded me a lot about Basquiat.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, like, for me, I think Basquiat's like a really great artist, but it's kind of embarrassing to say I did not know who he was, like, as a painter until I was maybe like 17. So that was not that long ago. But growing up, I'll send you photos too of me when I was younger and my artwork as a kid. It actually kind of looks exactly the same. From when I was, like, if you look at my artwork from when I was like 10, 12, 11, and you look at my artwork now, it's the same characters, but they have a home. And they like live on a canvas, and it's more refined, of course, but it's actually insane to see how similar my characters are from when I was a little kid to now. It almost is like, now it's professional and oh, she's at Art Bazel in Miami, like whatever, but no, it's actually really cool. It's like it's like I never let go of them.
Right.
Yeah.
So what is, you said your inspirations for Keith Haring?
Yes.
Basquiat. So between all of these guys, like what made you get into them so far? Like, how did you get into
into the art?
Yeah.
Well, I was always painting when I was younger, but I was more on track to be an engineer, because art was never,
Did anybody put you onto these guys, or you just like run it?
Oh, to the artist?
Yeah.
No. So when I was younger, I would just paint and it would come to me, and these were just like the characters that I had in my mind. And as I got older, and I just started like learning more about art, I guess through like Instagram, social media, like maybe like art documentaries my mom would show me. I looked at the art and related my art to theirs. So I was like, oh, my stuff looks like their stuff. Before I knew who they were, like I didn't realize who Keith Haring was, and then I went to I knew of him, but I never pulled inspiration from his paintings, and I was like, I like this painting, I'm going to do something like this. But looking at my art, I'm like, okay, wow, we are very similar. And I feel like art repeats itself, so it's actually kind of cool to see my work look like theirs and their work looks like mine. And
I do art too, and everybody keeps telling me to like jump into this kind of style. My cousin does art too. I'm gonna talk to him about him.
Yeah.
He does this kind of style, and he's amazing at it. Like I keep telling him to go. Every time he does a painting, he like goes over and then does more.
Yeah.
And we'll try to sell him like, yo, you just changed the painting. Like, so
I've done that.
how does one like freely express themselves? Like when you said you started doodling when you were in school and everything. How does one get out of the realm of just copying art or going original? How did you get into that?
That's really interesting. I think because you know what it is? I've talked to my gallerist about this too. I think it's because, okay, it's kind of embarrassing. I'm so uneducated and kind of innocent in the art world that I was able to create art from my soul and from my thoughts without being so affected and inspired, or I guess, by other artists.
Right.
So for me, for the longest when I was creating work, it was truly what was just original to me. And influence, that's the word.
Right.
I didn't have any influence from other artists because I didn't know any other artists at the time. Right. And then the older I got, I was like, wow, these color palettes are great. Like, I'm going to maybe use something like that. So I remember it was an Yves Klein painting, and I was like, I love that blue. And it was just blue. It was literally just a blue painting. It was a blue square. And I was like, wait, that's incredible. I want to use that color, So I think it's nice. It's a little bit of a push and pull game. You want to give credit where credit's due, but also recognize when an artist is being original. So I've had people come up and ask me about my artwork, and they're like, we have walked around this entire fair, and there's nothing like your artwork. And I've had other people tell me, like, yo, you have a distinct style. So if you were to put 100 paintings in a flash deck or a flashcard or something, and they're like, well, which painting is which? You can identify Keith Haring. You can identify Basquiat, or Modigliani, or like Henry Moore or something. But my paintings also, you can recognize my distinct style, is what I've been told. So it's been really great.
So how important is it for an artist to travel? Because I remember you told me that you've been across the world, you've been to so many places.
So for me, I have a lot of experience traveling because, like, upbringing, before I was the age of 18, I lived in different continents, different cities. I was Louisiana born, and then France, and then I lived in Iowa, upstate New York, different little cities and neighborhoods in Chicago. And then when I turned 18, I ended up living in Dubai alone, in Greece alone. Well, I was 19 when I was in Dubai, but I ended up traveling alone at those times for modeling. So it wasn't it was a choice. Of course, I have like free will, but I was like, yeah, for sure. Like your agency will send you to different countries to develop as a model, and through those experiences, I met more characters. I got more experience just like living and traveling and developing as a model, and also as an artist. Of course, I was always doodling and stuff. As an artist, though, I don't know how important it is to travel. I think, in my personal opinion, some people can create without ever leaving their house, but I pull so much inspiration from just being outside with people and my community and my friends. And I think a lot of these canvases have stories to be told. Like I had another green one and it had me and a friend eating ice cream because I had ice cream that day, and and it's something that I can add into my artwork that you don't necessarily know if it happened or if it didn't. But it's kind of like a memory for me and a memory for whoever decides to buy it.
Nice, nice. Yeah. When you say you like to do a lot of different hobbies, you like to model.
Yeah.
Of course, you paint, and you do music. You said, or are you getting into?
Do I what?
Music.
No, I sing, but like horrifically.
Oh.
I mean, no.
How do you balance like so many different talents?
It's because I literally did nothing as a kid. Like I had so much like free time when I was younger. So my mom raised my sister and I alone in upstate New York, and literally I just had time. I don't know. I wasn't doing soccer or ballet or anything, which is probably why I'm kind of terrible at sports. Sorry. Thanks, Mom. But I just had a lot of time and a lot of creative freedom, I think. My mom growing up, she was like definitely my biggest influence, and she was like, hey, like if you love something, just do it. She gave me so much room to be unapologetically myself. So she was my biggest supporter. Oh, I'll buy you paints, I'll buy you sketchbooks, I'll buy you notebooks. And like even growing up, she was always getting me art supplies and stuff. So yeah, it was really great. I think it was a good time. But yeah, I think that's why I ended up painting. I don't know. I just had a lot of time to be myself. Also, it could be because maybe I have like ADHD or something. I always want to be doing something. Like I always have to move around or like sing or paint or dance or something. Like, I don't know. I think people have caught me in the streets just randomly dancing. Like no music in my ears either, just bouncing around. But yeah, I think it's just like an intrinsic motivation to create and give back and put things out into this world that are stuck in my head. Yeah.
What do you think about what's your favorite between modernism, contemporary? What is your favorite piece or category of art?
I guess like contemporary art, but that's kind of like really large. Like there's a lot of things that can kind of encapsulate that. I don't know. I feel like pieces speak to me. I can instantly it's almost like a person, like when you meet a person within the first 30 seconds, you like know if you're going to click with them or not. And when I see a piece of work, I'm like, I dislike that, or I like art. Obviously art is subjective, and like I'm not going to go and buy a $100,000 piece right now, obviously, but I don't know. I think certain works speak to me. I love abstract work. Sometimes I like really simple works. There was a sketchbook that was taken apart I think it was like a museum in Chicago, and I thought that was a really cool exhibition from Picasso, and it was really cute to see his works without all the color, without all the oil paints, without everything. It was just like little doodles and sketches, and I really appreciated that. Yeah, I don't know. I think if I see a piece, I like it. I don't know if there's necessarily a specific category that I like. But I do love like bold colors. I don't love watercolor, but if it's like a gemstone color, or it's a really rich red or rich blue or rich green, just like really strong, prominent colors, I love. Even though I don't really wear them ever. But yeah.
Well, I think I want to talk about this one piece because I mentioned it yesterday when I was here.
Yeah.
I'm from Africa.
Okay.
And it made me feel like I was home. Like it was, especially this piece right here. When you see stuff like this kind of style, I love that. And especially the tones. It gives you that rich earth tone that makes me. But does this have any significance to do with Africa or
with Africa?
Yeah.
I mean, I want to say yes with my cultural upbringing. So I'm French and Moroccan.
Oh, okay.
But my mom's Moroccan, of course, and she's the one that raised me mainly. So I think she made our house a home. And I always think about that when I enter people's houses or homes. And I'm like, is this house a home, or is this just like it's just a house, you know. So she always had like rich tapestries. Yeah, tapestries. She always had rich tapestries, and the carpets were always warm colors like red or yellow or blue, and we had dark hardwood floors and so many plants everywhere. A lot of our house has brass on all of the metal fixtures. I don't know how to describe it. I think it just created like a nice warm environment for me, so I started thinking about how I can incorporate more warm browns and those rich, almost like earthy colors and rock colors and stuff into my artwork. I don't know if it necessarily ties back to Africa, because I literally I don't even know what I was listening to this. It was probably like Billie Eilish or something when I was painting.
And your mom is pure Moroccan, right?
Yes. Yeah, so we're Berber, or I think the correct term is Amazigh, which is like a specific like indigenous tribe from Morocco. It's really cool. I have this nice necklace. It's silver. I never wear silver, but it's really cute. It's an Amazigh symbol.
Have you ever been back home?
I went for 3 days, which is not enough. No, my mom's a professor, and she used to take her students back and forth, and I'm like, what about me? Like, I'll apply to college now. Yeah, but it was good. You know, I think like North Africa has so much rich culture, especially with colors, that you go and you see those. I don't know, when I went, I didn't see any like faded greens or faded pinks. It was like blue and red and yellow, and even if you look back at the spices in Morocco, like they're just
African spices.
It's just culture. I don't know, it's just like warm, and the colors are just so bold, and it makes my head start like just like fluttering and making ideas. I don't know, but yeah, I just like the colors. I don't know, that's the simple version. Yeah.
Let's get into modeling.
Okay.
So when was your first big breakout into modeling? How did you get into that?
When I was younger, I applied to a ton of agencies. I think I was like 14 at the time. Thank God I don't have photos of me when I was 14 online, because I didn't look great. But I applied to a modeling agency, a bunch of them, and then there was one that responded to me, Ignite Models, and they're based in Minneapolis, so it's pretty close to home, which is Chicago, suburbs. And
Minneapolis, Minnesota?
Yeah, Minneapolis, Minnesota. No, sorry, that's not my house, but that's where the agency is.
I used to live in Minnesota. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I travel there a couple times a year. It's great. Yeah, so she signed me, and we've been together ever since. Yeah, but I've been signed with her since, so it's been really great. And then we went to New York. We did a trip together, and she submitted me to all the agencies there, signed with one out there, and then I started working with them. So I have some cool clients like Veronica Beard. I worked for Vera Wang. I did a huge campaign for her. It's been really great. And then she had me travel to Dubai too, and I was working for Chanel and Celine, and I did a cool Bottega Veneta editorial. It was really cool. So there's a lot of art magazines out there. It's great.
How was it in Dubai?
Overwhelming. I feel like overwhelming and overstimulating, but at the same time, there's not any real depth to a lot of the people there. Maybe that's like unpopular opinion. I'll get canceled for saying that, but like there's not a lot of soul there. It's kind of scary. To be fair, I didn't go that further than the cities. I was kind of limited to like the cities and the marina and everything. But yeah, it was very beautiful, very glitz and glamour. But I did not meet a lot of people with like a lot of emotional depth. Yeah.
Now, have you made any friends? Have you made any friends in the art world so far? Like,
yeah, you know what? I have. It's great. It's funny because the majority of my friends like are models, because that's usually who I hang out with, that's who I live with, that's who I work with. But yeah, I've been trying to make more art friends. I have quite a few in New York. I'm also inspired by artists because I love being surrounded by creative people. That was a big thing when I got into modeling, being surrounded by makeup artists, photographers, art directors, art curators, like all those kind of people. I was like, wow, I love being around you guys. Like, you guys are an inspiration to me, because whenever I see people in their natural element, creating what they want and having a vision and bringing it to life, it's so inspirational. That's why.
Sure, because New York is so competitive. You know?
It is.
It's very competitive.
It is, but I think it's nice when you find like a good group of people and your group isn't competitive. So for me, I'm very much, at least at this point in my life, I didn't used to be like this. I'm like, whatever comes to me. I'm not gonna fight I'm gonna fight a little bit, but I'm not gonna fight to get what I want. If it's really for me, I think it'll come. So I like just having friends that are close to me, and we never compete. There's no jealousy. It's like a good group of people that we lift each other up and we inspire each other, and it's been great in New York. I don't have any complaints. I love the city. I love my people out there. So I have a good community.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So to end this off, I know that you said your mom was your biggest inspiration, right?
Yeah.
what was her first reaction when you said you gave her a piece of art? What was her first reaction when she first saw it?
Oh my God, wait, let me show you the painting. Hold on. It was terrible. It was not a good painting. But she loved it. She was, so it was so cute. She had this reaction. She like used to like scream and jump up and down. And now she like loves my work too, but she's not like jumping off the walls. Cause you know, your kid hands you a cute little piece of painting. She thought that I was like a little genius. She called me the little Picasso, and I swear to God, she tried to make
very inspiring too.
The what?
That must have got you really hyped and very inspiring.
I didn't know who Picasso was when I was like 8. I don't know. I didn't think I cared. She was like my little Picasso. I'm like, okay, mom. I don't. Yeah. Oh my God, where's this painting? Hold on. I hate the new software update. Don't update your phone. Don't do it. It's 18. Oh, yeah, I'm like everything's everywhere, guys. This is a lot for me. I can't.
I hate it.
I can't handle it. Okay. This. Oh my God, you can't see it. This. Okay, so it's on the side here. You literally cannot see it, but it was like a woman with like olive skin, and she had purple and black hair, and it was a red background. So this is me when I was a kid, and all the work that I created.
Oh, look at you.
Like it doesn't make any sense. But you know, you can kind of see how it's similar with the big eyes and huge lips, and the noses are curved, which my noses are still curved.
That's Picasso style.
You know, I was like,
nice.
It's very random. And then I used to do a lot of artwork with tape. I'm trying to see if I can find it. Oh, here's another one. This is me and my sister painting when we were younger. Here, I'll zoom in.
Is your sister also an artist too?
No, she's a writer, and she has like a real like big girl job. She's very smart. She went to college, graduated with a great degree.
How many siblings do you have?
Just one sister, older sister. She was here for a couple of days.
Nice.
Now she's headed to the airport. Yeah.
How do you like Miami so far?
It's been great. I wish I extended my trip. I wish I was doing more than being in a gallery every single day. Like I admire it, and obviously like I work very hard for what I have, and if I can be here 5 more hours and it'll mean more sales, I will literally stay here until it closes, which I have been staying every day. So it's been good, you know, every day I'm here. I was here 11 to 7 every single day, selling my artwork, just talking to people, sharing my story if I can. Even if they're not buying, I'm like, I'll just chit chat. I don't mind. I'll talk. It's beautiful. I have a pool that I haven't used yet, my Airbnb, so maybe I'll go for a swim tonight. I don't know, but we'll see.
The weather's nice outside, so you should definitely.
I know. I really should. I'm like, I want to go. But then they close the pool at like 5, I think. I'm like, why? Why? Please.
I checked the weather. It's like 28 degrees in like New York right now. So
yeah.
Cold. Earlier this morning it was so cold.
It sucks. Yeah, you should check Chicago.
Yeah. Oh my God. Freezing.
Worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Sophia, this was a great interview.
Thank you.
And I want to ask you one more thing.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you can give to the audience, like a word of inspiration? An artist that's trying to break their way into the industry.
I feel like if something is not working for you, go with your gut and go with what makes you happy in the meantime. It kind of sounds corny, but it's like, if you really love something, it'll find you at the right moment. And as much as that sounds probably like so crazy, but when this all went down, I really did not expect it to happen. I was just painting for fun on social media, and my gallerist found me, and he really saw something in me and my work and the way that I painted, almost like intuitively. And he went with his gut and gave me a contract, and I went with my gut and signed it. And now I'm here in Art Miami during Art Bazel week, and It's been great. So just really follow your heart and I don't know, and give it time. Be patient, even though I don't preach that. It's hard for me to be patient. So I've learned patience. Be really dedicated to your craft. So if something speaks to you and you have your style, really follow it, really develop it. You don't have to copy other people. And not everything everyone says is necessarily like true. You know, like go with your gut, go with your instinct. So, yeah.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you for the interview.
Thank you for interviewing me.
That was awesome.